So Scott Moe just signed off on a pipeline deal that could literally reshape Canada's energy future, and David Eby is already playing the role of that one friend who says they're totally fine while clearly plotting revenge. Welcome back to Canadian Insights, where we break down the political drama that's spicier than a Tim Hortons double-double left in your car all afternoon. Today we're diving into Saskatchewan's pipeline optimism, Alberta's big plans, and why BC's Premier might need a stress ball. Buckle up, because this is about to get as heated as a prairie summer. Let's set the stage here. Scott Moe, Saskatchewan's Premier, and the guy who probably dreams in wheat fields and oil barrels, just came out swinging with some serious optimism about a memorandum of understanding between Alberta and Ottawa. The goal? Getting a shiny new pipeline built to Canada's west coast. And honestly, the enthusiasm is palpable. Moe sat down with Evan Bray and basically painted a picture of economic prosperity so bright you'd need sunglasses. He's talking jobs, he's talking growth, he's talking about finally getting our resources to international markets without having to apologize for wanting to, fund healthcare and roads and all those pesky government services people seem to enjoy. Now, if you're not from the prairies, let me explain what pipelines mean to folks like Moe. This isn't just about moving oil, it's about economic survival. Saskatchewan's economy runs on agriculture and resources like my coffee addiction runs on caffeine, desperately and without shame. When oil prices are good and pipelines are flowing, provincial coffers fill up faster than a hockey arena on playoffs night. When they're not, well, let's just say budget meetings get awkward. But here's where it gets interesting, and by interesting I mean politically messy in the most Canadian way possible. While Moe is out here doing his best cheerleader impression for this pipeline project, he's also taking shots at British Columbia's Premier David Eby. And folks, when I say shots, I mean the kind that make you go oh like you just witnessed a sick burn in a high school cafeteria. Moe isn't just disagreeing with Eby's stance on the pipeline, he's essentially calling out BC for being the roadblock between Western Canada and economic nirvana. It's like watching someone politely but firmly tell their neighbor that yes, actually, the fence is on their property line, thank you very much. Here's the thing about David Eby though. The guy's not exactly known for rolling over on environmental issues. He's got a voter base in British Columbia that cares deeply about protecting the coastline, Indigenous rights, and keeping tanker traffic to a minimum. So when he hears prairie premiers talking about running more pipeline through his province, he's probably having flashbacks to every environmental assessment hearing that's ever gone sideways. Eby's position isn't coming from nowhere, it's coming from a province where the ocean isn't just scenery, it's identity. But from Moe's perspective, that environmental caution looks a lot like economic sabotage. Now let's talk about this memorandum of understanding because it's not just some handshake deal over beers at the Calgary Stampede. This is Alberta and Ottawa actually agreeing on something, which in Canadian politics is rarer than a Stanley Cup win for the Maple Leafs. The fact that these two levels of government found common ground on pipeline infrastructure is genuinely noteworthy. It suggests that maybe, just maybe, there's recognition at the federal level that energy infrastructure actually matters. Revolutionary concept, I know. The economic argument Moe is making isn't complicated. Right now, Canadian oil gets bottlenecked because we don't have enough pipeline capacity to move it to tidewater. That means we're selling our resources at a discount to American buyers who know we're stuck. It's like trying to sell your car when everyone knows you need the money by Friday. You're not getting top dollar. A new pipeline to the west coast opens up Asian markets, increases competition for Canadian resources, and theoretically boosts prices. More money for oil means more money for provincial budgets means more money for literally everything else. It's economics 101, except with more political theater and less math. But Moe's criticism of Eby reveals something deeper about Canadian federalism that's basically been simmering since Confederation. What happens when one province's economic priorities directly clash with another province's environmental concerns? Who wins? Who gets to decide? The premiers? The Prime Minister? A very polite cage match in Ottawa? This is the eternal Canadian struggle. Except instead of French versus English or East versus West, it's oil versus AUKUS, and nobody's figured out how to make everyone happy. Eby's counter-argument, if we're being fair here, isn't without merit. British Columbia has legitimate concerns about pipeline spills, tanker traffic through sensitive waterways, and the long-term viability of fossil fuel infrastructure in a world that's supposedly transitioning to renewable energy. He's not exactly wrong to ask whether building major new oil infrastructure in 2025 is the best use of capital and political energy. But try explaining that to a Saskatchewan farmer watching global potash prices or an Alberta oil worker wondering if they'll have a job next year. The perspectives are so different they might as well be speaking different languages. What makes this situation particularly spicy is the timing. We're in an era where federal climate policy is pulling one direction, provincial economic realities are pulling another, and everyone's pretending like these contradictions aren't about to rip the country apart like a badly wrapped Christmas present. Mo's optimism about the pipeline MOU isn't just about this one project, it's about whether resource-producing provinces still have a voice in Confederation or whether they're going to get perpetually outvoted by urban Ontario and Quebec, who already got rich off manufacturing and now want to lecture everyone else about emissions. And look, I'm not saying Mo's got all the answers here. Saskatchewan's got its own environmental record to contend with, and the province isn't exactly leading the charge on renewable energy innovation. But his frustration with BC's resistance is real, and it's shared by a lot of Western Canadians who feel like their economic interests keep getting sacrificed on the altar of coastal environmentalism. Meanwhile, Eby's got his own constituents to answer to, and they're not exactly thrilled about becoming Canada's oil highway to Asia. The real question is whether this MOU between Alberta and Ottawa actually goes anywhere, or whether it becomes another forgotten document in the great filing cabinet of Canadian political promises. History suggests caution. We've seen pipeline proposals die spectacular deaths before, complete with court challenges, protests, and enough political drama to fill a season of a very boring reality show. But Mo seems genuinely optimistic this time, and maybe that optimism is warranted. Or maybe he's just really good at putting on a brave face while internally screaming into the void like the rest of us. So there you have it, folks. Scott Moe's betting big on pipelines, Ottawa and Alberta are playing nice for once, and David Eby is presumably stress-eating Nanaimo bars while preparing his rebuttal. Canadian politics never fails to deliver the drama, even if it comes wrapped in polite language and memorandums of understanding. If you enjoyed this breakdown of prairie optimism versus coastal concern, smash that like button, subscribe to Canadian Insights because we post multiple videos daily keeping you updated on all the political chaos, and drop a comment below telling me whether you think this pipeline will actually get built or whether it's destined to join the graveyard of good intentions. Until next time, stay informed, stay skeptical, and remember that in Canadian politics, everyone's right and everyone's wrong depending on which province you're standing in.